Hi everyone and welcome to today's session. I'm Naomi Cameron from the Market Integration team and I will be taking you through how to record PDs in the MINDA app. We'll be covering how to record events in the app. We'll also look at the security of your events and we'll also go through what to do if you need any help troubleshooting or who to contact if you need a bit of ongoing help with recording these events in future. So the first thing I'm going to show you what to do today is to put your phone into Do Not Disturb mode or airplane mode so that when you're recording PD events, you're not getting any other interferences or interruptions during your session. So to do that, I'm using an iPhone, so it might be a little different on an Android phone, but to turn airplane or Do Not Disturb mode on, I just need to swipe up on my device. And you can see that there's a little airplane icon or a little moon icon here. So today I'm just going to use Do Not Disturb. And what that means is when I'm recording my events, I'm not going to get any phone calls or notifications popping through that might interrupt my event recording. Before I go out on farm, I'm also going to make sure that I have the right permissions set up. So that's a really critical thing that you need to do with your customer before the visit. So your customer needs to assign you the right recording permissions in MINDA Live, and then you also need to accept those permissions and make sure that your phone has the HUD loaded in the app before you go out. So if you need any help on setting up MINDA Live permissions, you can go to the LIC website and there's a MINDA Help page, and that will step you through how to organise those permissions, and also you can call the CEC if you want someone to step you through that same information. I've got all my permissions set up for my herd, so I'm going to click into the MINDA app now, and then the pregnancy diagnosis tile is what I'm going to click on first. So in this screen, you can see that I've got a recent events page and an option to record pregnancy diagnosis. So once I have recorded some events, this page will populate with all of my my sessions and my events. For now it's blank, but that's what that space is for when you're recording events. So what I'll do is I'll click into record pregnancy diagnosis now, and the first screen you see is the date and a little box to enter in an assessor code. So the app defaults to today's date, but you can flick through and choose a different date if you like. If I'll click into the assessor code box. This is where I'd key in a participant code if I needed to record that information. This screen, you only have to record the date and assessor code once. That's why it's all on the one page. Once I'm happy with the date and what I've entered for an assessor, I can click on next. This takes me to the animal screen. So all I need to do is key in an animal number, and you'll see that the scope bar has tag selected. So I'm entering in a tag or a cow number, and I've got cow number 120 ready to go. So let's just say she's the first animal that I'm recording a status for. I might want to have a look at her mating information that's been recorded. So instead of clicking on the next button, which is in the top right hand corner here, I can use the lookup function of the app, which is the little magnifying glass icon there. So I'll tap on that first. And what it does is it takes me to her reproduction information. So down the bottom of the app, reproduction is highlighted, and I can just scroll down. She's had no matings recently recorded for the 2017 season, so that's fine. I'll go back to animal by clicking on the animal heading, and I'll click on next now, and this is where I can record her status. So you'll notice that the animal ID 120 is showing in this screen, and also her birth ID. So that was something that we've recently added in based on feedback, because we've heard that scanners and vets also like to validate the two tags that the animal has in her ear while they're doing scanning. So we've added that information in there for you so that you don't have to look for that in the lookup section of the app. So for this animal, I'm going to record her as empty. You'll notice that the next button is greyed out at the moment. So if I were to click into where it says age and type in some numbers, then the next button becomes blue for me to click into. But I can also just simply select one of these statuses, either pregnant, empty, or doubtful, and that will take me to the next screen as well. So it just depends on what you're wanting to record, either a manual age for the pregnancy or a status below, as to how you move to the next screen of the app. It also has a previous matings heading here. So if she had any matings for the current season, these would show, and I'd just be able to select the number of days pregnant she is based on those matings, and it would take me to the next screen. I'll show you what that looks like with another animal example when we move through and record a few more PDs. But for this animal, I'm just going to record her as empty. And what that does is it moves me back into the animal screen, so I can search for another animal now and record a new status. So let's go with cow number 134. I'm going to hit next. And for her, I'm going to record that she's pregnant. So selecting the status pregnant doesn't give her an aged PD. It just says that she's pregnant and it was observed as of this date. So I've recorded two PDs now, and I'm going to actually switch into a birth ID mode because the animal that I'm looking at the moment doesn't have a cow number. So to record a PD against a birth ID, all I need to do is tap on the scope bar where it says birth ID. And what it does is it populates my participant code for me, and then I just fill in the blanks. So this animal is 17.4. And here we go. So you can see that this animal has had a mating this season, and based on that artificial insemination, she would be 115 days. So if I want to use that as my aged PD, I just select that button, and it says that she is 115 days pregnant now in my summary screen. With the scope bar, it will default to what you've last selected. So if I want to go back to tag, I need to make sure I select that. If I'm using an EID wand to scan animals' EIDs while I'm recording these statuses, EID has to be selected in the scope bar. Okie dokie. So a few warnings that you might receive in the app are around animals not being current in the herd, or if you're recording a duplicate PD. So if I've got a cow number that's not recorded in the herd, for example, cow number 300, I get a message saying that the tag number is not found. So what I might want to do there is check, have I got the right cow number? If she's got a birth ID there, I might want to key that in instead if I can see that visual ID clearly, or I might have just made a typo, so I'll go back to tag, and actually that was cow number 30 in my herd. Oh yeah, PDGY 16.6, cool. So those little validation messages, just make sure that you're not recording anything in error. The other message that you might see is if you're trying to record a PD for an animal that already has one for the same date. So for example, if I try to record another PD now for cow number 134, I get a message to say that I've already recorded 134 as pregnant, and it asks if I want to replace this. So I might have made a mistake. So yes, I want to replace this status. Let's just say she's empty now. That's all I need to do if I choose to replace, and 134 jumps to the top of my recent diagnosis list. 134, I might want to check who she actually is, so I can use the lookup function, and I can go to the summary tab here, and I can see, right, PDGY 13106, she's the 134 that I have recorded, but the 134 in front of me has a different birth ID, so you can make some decisions around what you need to record there, or you might need to make a note to fix that up later on. So there's a few validation messages in there that just help you make sure that the data you're recording is quality. Let's just say these are all of the PDs that I want to record for this session, so I can hit done now. I'm in a summary screen, so this allows me to edit any information that I've recorded. I can delete the entire session if I want. If I click on where it says 3 animals recorded, I go back to that previous screen, and there are little trash cans here where I can delete this information if I've made a mistake. In the summary screen as well, it also gives me a percentage of, I can see my empty rate here. Okay, so out of these animals, 67% of them are empty. So just a bit of reporting that you can pass on to your customer if they need to know what their empty rate's looking like so far. When I click on finish, it takes me back to that first screen where I've got my unsent events. So I've got 3 animals here. And if I need to, I can record some more PDs, or I can edit some information in here. So we've added a new function in where you can edit any unsent events. So I can just simply click on this pencil. If the pencil's showing, it means the events are editable. So I can just click on that, and it just takes me to that summary screen. If I was connected to Wi-Fi or data, or if I just didn't have that do not disturb or airplane mode turned on, I've got 5 minutes to edit those unsent events. If you're in something like airplane mode, then you've got as long as you want to edit those events before they're sent up to the holding pen. If for some reason I forgot to enter a PD for an animal, or I just wanted to create a new session for the same date, I can click on Record Pregnancy Diagnosis again. My date will populate, and I can click Next. And let's just say, oops, I forgot to enter 100 status in there. She's actually empty. And if I hit Done now and Finish, what it will do is it will combine the 2 sessions. So even though I recorded them in separate sessions, they've been combined into the one, and I've got the 4 animals recorded there, and it updates my empty and pregnancy rate in the summary screen as well. Okay, so moving on to the security of your events. So in previous versions of the app, if for some reason your app was to be minimized, or if I just closed out of the app for some reason, the events that I had recorded would have been lost, but we've done a recent upgrade to the app to save those events regardless of whether you've hit save or finish or done during the flow. So if I open my app now, my events are still showing in here. So you can rest assured that if your app is to crash for any reason, not that it should, but if it does, your events are safe, and we can pull those events from the device if they're not showing up for any reason. So you just need to make sure that you're on the latest version of the MINDA app, and to do that, you just need to go into your app store. So again, this is for iPhone, but if you're on Android, it'll be the Google Play Store that you go into. And down the bottom for iPhone users, there's an updates option. And if there are any updates available for the MINDA app, just make sure you find that in your list. And instead of open, it would tell you that there's an update available for you to download, and you could just click on download. But I'm on the latest version, so it's just prompting me to open it. So before you go out and record any PDs, I'd highly recommend just making sure you are on the latest version of the MINDA app, so that you've got that security of your events being stored should your app close down for any reason. troubleshooting. So if you do run into any problems while you're using the app, you can call the Customer Experience Centre, and they'll be able to work out what's going on with the app, run you through a few troubleshooting steps, and if need be, escalate the issue onto our technical support team. So the contact number for the CEC is 0800 2MINDA, which is 0800 264 632. So that's everything for the session on how to record PDs using the MINDA app. We've dropped the number of screens down quite a bit since talking to vets and scanners around how we can improve this app. So hopefully this speeds up recording events out on farm. But if you have any more feedback or just need a bit more help, of course you can call the LIC Customer Experience Centre, and we'd love to hear how you've found using the app out on farm. So do send through any feedback that you do have. And if you do need any more help on setting up permissions, just check out the LIC website and go to the MINDA Help page, and you'll be able to find some extra information there. Otherwise, thanks very much for your time this morning, and I hope you found this session valuable.